Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday morning, and welcome to September. I hope you had a wonderful long weekend. In the pre-market this morning, stock index futures are trading below fair value. We are seeing a little profit taking this morning with the Dow down 200 points. We do have economic numbers coming out. These are the major economic numbers of the week, but they're all coming out after the market opens on Tuesday morning. Let's start off looking at the VIX and coming into Tuesday's trading action. For the S&P 500, we're looking for a close above 1754 to change things on Tuesday. Now, the VIX for the NASDAQ and the Russell are both on sell signals right now, just like for the S&P 500. We'll be watching all three of those this week to see if they move up. And, of course, if they move up, we're expecting the stock market to move down. Now, there has been some movement in the currency market. We see the U.S. dollar up at the lower channel line while we have the euro back on a sell signal. So some money is starting to move in the currency world that could affect the stock market going forward. Remember, this nice rally we've had in the North American markets has been on the back of a falling U.S. dollar. Then looking at the Canadian dollar, small pullback on Friday, still no change in trend. Now looking at the bond market, we have had money coming out of bonds over the past couple of days, but not all bonds. There's the TLT and the XBB moving down last week. We've got the emerging markets and the junk bonds still holding up fairly well. So when we look at the 30-year bond, we are back on a sell signal and yields are back on a buy signal. So the rising yields may put downward pressure on the stock market going into September. We'll just have to wait and see. Looking at the world of commodities, we've got crude oil back on a sell signal as of Friday's close. So a lot of volatility in the crude oil market last week. We ran up to the 78.13. We're below the $75 level, and it looks like we're heading back down to the 71.88. If that breaks, then 68.75 would be our next target to the downside. Now, while crude oil was flipping and flopping last week, gasoline and natural gas both remained on sell signals. So gasoline and natural gas more localized. The price of crude oil, of course, is a global commodity. Gasoline and natural gas are localized to North America. Taking a look at gold pulled back into the channel on Friday. It closed below $230.06 would give us a sell signal on Tuesday. We held up above the 31.25 going into the close on Friday, closed at 231.29. And you can see if we start breaking down, then 225 would be our next target to the downside. Taking a look at palladium, inside day on Friday, no change in trend there. Platinum still on a sell signal, no change in trend. And silver is back on a sell signal as of Friday's close. Looking at the cryptos, we still have Bitcoin and Ethereum both on sell signals, no change in trend coming into Tuesday's trading action. Let's finish off this morning's presentation, taking a look at the major index ETFs and starting off with the iShares for the TSX 60. We're up at the top of the panic zones. An early warning signal has gone off. We did tag 35.55, so you had a chance to take some money off the table there. You can see that we've traded in the channel for the past couple of days. So we closed up on Friday outside the channel, but anytime you've got a bar trading in the channel, there's certainly a mathematical possibility that we could get a sell signal. And on Tuesday, we're looking for a close below $34.97. Now, looking at the Dow Diamonds, you can see a new all-time closing high on Friday. So the first thing we're going to be looking for this week is a close below Friday's low. And so far, we're not expecting to see that on Monday, but it could happen. And because we're not trading in the channel, I'm not too concerned about a possible sell signal on Monday. We're up at the 414.06 level. We closed above that on Friday, but you can see we're still stuck to it. We're trading through that level right now. If we can break away, then, of course, 421.88 would certainly come into play, but we're still stuck to 414.06. Looking at the S&P 500, we've dipped into the channel for the past couple of days, so looking for a close on Tuesday below $554.12. We've been talking about 562.50. We closed just above that on Friday, but didn't take out the previous high, and certainly have not broken away from that level so far. Then looking at the equal-weighted S&P 500, new high for that on Friday, not trading in the channel at all. We're stuck to 175. We closed above it on Friday. If we can break away, 178.13 certainly comes into play. Now, the NASDAQ's another story altogether. We've been trading in the channel for the past couple of days. A close below $470.37 would give us a sell signal on Tuesday. And you can see we haven't had that much of a recovery compared to the Dow and the S&P 500. So big cap tech stocks have been a little drag on the market recently. Now, we are stuck between two of our price target lines, and so far we're holding the 468.75 level. We've dipped down through that, but that's holding as support. So if that breaks, you can see our playing field expands down to these two levels down here. So we'll just keep an eye on that on Tuesday. The equal-weighted NASDAQ 100 closed above the upper channel line, but certainly traded in the channel on Friday. So a close below $122.43 would give us a sell signal, and 125 is currently acting as resistance. Of course, if we break out above that, you look two lines up, that takes us back up to the previous high. Then looking at the next generation NASDAQ, we dipped into the channel on Friday. We basically, it looks like we may put in a double top here. We'll just have to wait and see. You can see the reversal we had on Thursday. Looking for a close on Tuesday below $28.65. Now, 29.30 is currently acting as resistance, and of course, if we take that out, you can see that would open up to the next two lines up to the $30.08 level. That has, of course, not happened yet. So we've got the Russell 2000 closing above the upper channel line, similar for small caps and micro caps. So hopefully we will not see a sell signal in those ETFs on Tuesday. Now, looking at semiconductors, we're still on a buy signal here. We'll be watching that sector closely this week. And the financials, of course, have been part of the big up move recently. One of the reasons that the S&P 500 is outpacing the NASDAQ at the moment, and that's also true for the Dow and the TSX. There's the U.S. financials from the S&P 500, and there's the Canadian financials from the TSX. Both of those indexes hitting new highs on Friday. And our last chart this morning is the Magnificent 7 ETF, and you can see it's been a pretty lame recovery after the big sell-off that ran down into early August. So here we are. We're currently on a sell signal. Friday was an inside day, so certainly the Magnificent 7 is not helping lead the market higher. So coming into September is a traditionally volatile month and often the worst month of the year. We're starting to see some movement in the bond market and currencies, and that could translate into weaker stocks going forward. Coming into Tuesday, the VIX is still on a sell signal, and we'll be watching to see how the VIX settles on Tuesday. If it's back on a buy signal, that's going to be negative for stocks going forward. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll be back on Wednesday morning to take a look at the most actively traded stocks from Tuesday's trading action.